I got to stop. I got to bring it up because I've been teasing it all morning. The commissioner interview on CTV Atlantic yesterday, Steve Murphy just went after Randy Ambrosie in an interview, which I don't think Randy Ambrosie saw coming. He's not used to getting roughed up in interviews. And I should link this to my Twitter or something so y'all can see it. But, Marshall, I want your take on this. The question from the interviewer was, why isn't this game sold out yet? Why did you have to lower ticket prices? Why did you make them so expensive in the first place? Why are you missing all these deadlines to announce a team and build a stadium? And why are you not confirming that the team's going to start playing here in Moncton in 2021? And Randy is like, whoa! It was a tidal wave of just whack, 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 which sports guys aren't used to getting. Politicians are. Randy's not a politician. And the one question that sticks out to me, he goes, are you not worried that this game isn't sold out yet? And Randy's like, I'm the commissioner of the CFL. I got a lot of things to worry about. Just add this to the pile. There's been no confirmation that they're starting play in 2021. Ticket sales have been slow in Moncton, Marshall. How worried should he be about this whole Schooners thing?
Well, first of all, maybe the last interview that guy gets with Randy Ambrosie.
Probably, yeah.
But what I've learned over the years, and this is somewhat of a skirted answer to your question, but when senior executives get asked questions, I mean, you'd be surprised how often, in fact, it's probably 95% of the time, 95% of the time, they would love to tell you something that answers that question, but they can't, because they can't divulge something confidential. They can't point the finger at somebody else that's really at fault for why this didn't happen. There are so many answers to the questions that Randy Ambrosie was sitting there biting his tongue, in my opinion, biting his tongue saying, I'd love to tell you who screwed up and why we're not doing this. I'd love to tell you why I can't announce this. I'd love to tell you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's probably really good answers to all those questions, but Randy Ambrosie, being the leader and the CEO of the Canadian Football League or whatever, his commissioner, he's biting his tongue saying, I can't tell you. And he's not saying I can't tell you, because that just begs the question, why can't you tell me? And then the reporter will just keep probing more and more and more. So you stick to what looks like a political answer and says, we're working on that, or we'll have an announcement shortly, or those kinds of things. Randy's got answers to all those questions. I'm certain of it, but he just couldn't say them.
Are they the answers that we want to hear? Because this will be, if they don't announce the team by this Grey Cup in Calgary in November, this will be the third Grey Cup that they've just teased the nation with this team. Yeah. I was at the Schooners announcement of the team name in Edmonton last year. I remember Anthony LeBlanc got on the stage at the Schooners party the year before, wherever the Grey Cup was. Was it Ottawa? Guys, we're like 3 years past that with nothing.
I'm
like, that's a long time.
This isn't what you asked me, but I'm really confident that there will be a Schooners team in the Maritimes in the next few years. But I can't tell you exactly when it's going to happen. But it'll happen when Randy and the league have everything lined up. When they've got a stadium lined up, when they've got a community lined up, when they've got the province lined up, when they've got the rest of the Board of Governors lined up. They have to line up all these things. And when all of those things aren't lined up yet, Randy Ambrosie is caught there biting his tongue saying, he can't say this out loud, but what he'd like to say is, all of the ducks aren't lined up yet. The one that isn't lined up yet is this one, and why don't you ask him that question? Randy can't say that, but they will line the ducks up. It may not happen as quick as they'd like it to. It may not happen in the order they'd originally intended for the Ducks to line up, but the Ducks will line up, and there will be a team in Atlantic Canada, and they won't be called the Ducks.
I pulled up Steve Murphy's Twitter, and he's got two quotes from Randy, which would tease the rest of the interview. But he was asked about ticket count for Touchdown Atlantic, and he admits that selling tickets across all sports is difficult, and still says that he thinks we're going to get to a sellout in the game. And then when asked about the delay in a business plan for the new Halifax Stadium, he said he's encouraged ownership group to, quote, do it right. Yep. And not focus on deadlines. Says CFL has no deadline for Halifax team and declined to name 2021 as a target for the startup. So probably a lot more in that interview that I'm going to watch when this is done.
No, that's the crux of it.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried to find his Twitter too. I couldn't find it. What's his Twitter?
Steve Murphy.
CTV?
No, his Twitter handle is actually CTV Anchor.
Come on.
He got the CTV Anchor Twitter handle. It's at CTV Anchor.
But it's worth a watch.
Steve Murphy, no bio.
For just pure awkwardness. Like I'm watching it going, oh, this is awkward.
Yeah,
for Randy.
Not a typical Randy Ambrosie.
Well, I looked at, there was the thread, and one of the comments that stood out right away was nothing but the one word fumbled.
By Ambrosie.
I would assume that's what they.
But what I
to.
took from what you just read on there was, and this isn't an exact quote, was do it right, don't do it quick.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with that strategy?
1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years is not going to mean anything for a team that ends up being around for 60 or 70 or 100 years.
We're not going to care 50 years from now
Exactly.
Whether it started in 20, 21, or 22. What we're going to care is whether it was a successful launch, that the team started to do well in their first or second campaign, and they've been a contender ever since. That's what we want. 50 years. You got to take the 50-year vision of this, not the 1-year vision.
It's the same thing as this. I wanted you on the air the day after you left the radio station, but we would have been doing a podcast in yours or my basement, and it would never have become this because we would have got comfortable with that.
We did it right. Yeah.
We did it right.
Marshall, we'll let you go, but I'll see you on TV tonight.
Yes.
Sound good?
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.